Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studios in Madison. This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Breaking news in the world of the Milwaukee Bucks. Trade deadline coming around February 8th. No trade for the Milwaukee Bucks. Per Adrian Wojnarowski, my best on his name, it's tough. The Bucks have fired head coach Adrian Griffin. Haven't even made it to the All-Star break. Just over halfway through the season. This is big. You don't see this. You do not see this often. And my instant reaction is this is Kyle Brust and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin. Ben Brust, Kyle Wallace, heartbeat of the show, Packer backer, but Wisconsin backer. Brad Nortman alongside us as well. You can get us on YouTube. Look, this doesn't happen unless there is a huge internal frustration amongst team and coach. And the power dynamics of the NBA is a lot different than the NFL and the MLB. It is a player-driven league. And Giannis Antetokounmpo made it very, very clear that he wanted to move on from Coach Bud because he didn't stop the firing of Coach Bud. And it all counts lead to Giannis choosing Adrian Griffin to be his guy for the head coaching job of the Milwaukee Bucks. Well, they are 6-4 their last 10. They have struggled on the road, and they have struggled mightily defensively. Here's why this is interesting. On the surface, 30-13. They are second place in the East record-wise. That continues to help me figure out that this was an internal issue. Not seeing eye to eye, not going in the same direction. Too many quotes from Giannis post-game about the synergy of the team and what they're trying to accomplish. Adrian Griffin, breaking news, let go, released, dismissed, fired, however you want to put it, from the Milwaukee Bucks. Again, I'm Ben Brust. Alongside me, Kyle Wallace. I want to go to you, Kyle, right away. Your thoughts?
My first thought is, what the heck? And I say, what the heck, because how is it that the Milwaukee Bucks can sit here and make a decision and fire Adrian Griffin within, I believe it was 43 games he had coached? Yes, 43 games. They made
just over halfway.
In his first season as a coach, they fire Adrian Griffin already, but the Green Bay Packers decided that Joe Barry needed 3 seasons and still don't know whether or not they're going to get rid of Joe Barry or not. What the heck? We're afraid to fire him in mid-season, but the Bucks, a team with championship aspirations, made a decision because they could tell that the defense did not live up to the expectation. The defense was not good enough for the Milwaukee Bucks to be a championship caliber team. Instead of waiting out to see how this would play out, they decided they were going to make a decision now. I look to my Green Bay Packers, who just lost a couple days ago when they allowed for a kicker who had failed them all season long. Let's be honest, he was not good enough this season. They allowed him to be basically the Achilles heel and fail this team. And they allowed Joe Barry, I don't care how well the defense played in the end. At the end of the day, the defense was the poor spot for the Green Bay Packers. So I'm just trying to figure out why the Green Bay Packers never follow suit of what the Milwaukee Bucks have done. The Milwaukee Bucks saw an issue. They got rid of the issue. They're going to move on. The Green Bay Packers saw an issue, and I hear my head coach talking about he still needs to evaluate. They need to make a decision because this frustration for me, I understand it's a Bucks thing.
The organizations run different.
But it makes me upset about the Green Bay Packers because what could have been? We sat here on this show and talked about if you fire Joe Barry now, is it a net negative or a net positive? And we all agreed there was no negative from firing him. The Milwaukee Bucks evaluated the situation. They said, you know what? We're not winning a championship with Adrian Griffin this year. There is no negative in firing Adrian Griffin, and they listened to the star player Giannis, and I don't think the Packers listen to the defensive players.
800-990-3776. That's the ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. 800-990-ESPN. Streaming on YouTube at ESPN Madison and at ESPN Milwaukee is Kyle Brust and Nortman with you until 5 o'clock, reacting to the firing of head coach Adrian Griffin from the Milwaukee Bucks.
Well, this was the tied for the third shortest NBA head coaching tenure in history. Third shortest in NBA history. And this is with a team that has 30 wins already and is second in the Eastern Conference. What this tells me is this team is looking to win right now. Not building for the future, not building for anything. We need to win right now. And anything anything that can put that into jeopardy, it needs to be figured out, needs to be nipped in the bud right now. And that was what they felt like they needed to do, is have a new direction and have a new coach lead the helm. And quite honestly, you just cannot be a defensive coach and have your defense be playing this badly. I mean, it'd be the same thing in the NFL if you hired an offensive guru and your offense stinks.
It would be like if Matt LaFleur didn't help Aaron Rodgers have a back-to-back MVP resurgence and take a 2-5 team. Well, actually, he deserves more credit for that because he had a bunch of youngsters. But he took 2-5 team, and with rookie wide receivers and tight ends, with Jordan Love as a first-year starter, and their offense was wonderful. Now here's my frustration, right? Giannis is clearly a major theme in all of what's happened over the last 6 months with the Milwaukee Bucks, right? Coach Budenholzer won a championship, and they wanted a new voice, right? He brought a championship to the city of Milwaukee for the first time in 50 years. Now, it's one of those things where if you're going to fire a coach who won you a world championship, you better have all the pipelines in the background. You better have something figured out that you don't get in your situation where you're firing the third shortest stint in the NBA's history in Adrian Griffin. There has been tension amongst Adrian Griffin and the players and the way this organization's felt from the start of the season. It has not felt great, but again, that's my problem is this feels a little bit like what LeBron did in 2016. They fired their head coach, David Blatt, in the middle of the season. I believe it was Ty Lue came in, and they won a championship that year. But my fear is this team ready to win a championship? Can you plug a head coach in the middle of the season? I hear Doc Rivers, according to some sources on ESPN, across the Athletic, people are eyeing Doc Rivers as the guy to potentially replace Adrian Griffin. But when you let superstars run the show like the NBA does, you're going to get this type of situation.
Well, this is what I wonder. How much did they listen to the voices of the players when they moved on from Bud and then brought in Adrian Griffin? Because you're right, Ben, this is a superstar-driven team league, and it should be because those have the most impact on if you actually get a title or not. But this is where the management, I feel like, took a misstep. This was clearly a bad fit. It was his type of coaching with these type of players, which are older, offensive-laden superstars, where it was clearly a bad fit with what he wanted to do, and they couldn't implement it. So I blame management for not knowing exactly what you're going to do in the wake of firing Bud and moving on from him. You need to have a more clear solution, and that you need to have a better fit for the players.
It's a very interesting point, but it's hard for me also to sit here and blame management. You know why? Because Giannis wanted Adrian Griffin.
He sure did.
And Giannis signed the ink. I got a pen right here. You know what that pen did with Giannis when he got to choose his guy?
We celebrated. He
signed an extension.
He sure did.
And just real quick, to be fair, management also fired him very quickly. They noticed their fault and moved on very quickly. So that you have to give him credit for that.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that Giannis, Aaron Rodgers, what we're finding here in Wisconsin is that maybe we should trust our general managers, the general managers that are able to acquire talent and make our teams competitive, because that's exactly what we have here. We should trust in them to make decisions, because when superstars get to pick their person, it seems to not work out. And honestly, Adrian Griffin probably already came in at a disadvantage because it wasn't really his team. It was Giannis's team. And when Giannis is in charge and Giannis is running the show, Adrian Griffin can only do so much. And we should have known that there was something going on when Terry Stotts decided that he was going to leave this organization early.
I mean, you don't see that. He was the associate head coach, I believe. He had time with Dame in Portland.
He was brought in to bring a veteran presence to a rookie head coach in Adrian Griffin, and he decided to leave because there was an altercation. And that should have been the first sign that something was not going to be right with this team. So I put the blame, and we don't say this too often, I put the blame solely on Giannis. This is Giannis's decision. This is what happens when you give somebody too much power. They get power and they control, and they get to make these type of decisions. I just applaud the Milwaukee Bucks for maybe being able to reset and say, here, team, what's going on? Let's fire him. Let's move forward. But I'm going to lead the charge. No longer yet let Giannis be a GM. Let Giannis be a superstar player, because we already saw when Michael Jordan got to be a GM and the owner of a basketball team, it sucked. So let's just let the guys who are professionals do their job and not let these superstars try to do the job for them.
Well, usually when you loop in the players, I mean, to an extent, you have to give these NBA superstars a voice, but you can't have it be solely their say. It has to be more collaborative than that. And most of the time, whether it be Aaron Rodgers in New York or, LeBron in LA or Giannis in Milwaukee, whenever you let the players have too much say, too much control, it usually doesn't work out well. Everyone needs to do what they're best at. And I just fear that if this was Giannis's guy, there was too many signs where it's like this is a bad match for this team, where a defensive-driven head coach with guys that don't play very good defense. Let's not forget, this is a first-year head coach. A first-year head coach walking onto a team with superstars, big personalities, and NBA title aspirations.
The moment was too big.
It was way too big.
It was too much.
Well, then why even hire the guy?
Because Giannis was like, I like this guy.
You have to put your foot down. You had a guy like Nick Nurse out there that might have been a better fit. It may have been more helpful for the Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks maybe should have got a veteran coach. This should be a lesson. They should have. Because now that's what they're looking for. Let this be a lesson for players. Let this be a lesson for the Bucks organization.
Good luck with that.
No, but for real.
If I was making $500 million, I'd be like, I want that guy.
Let this be a lesson, because when we look to Aaron Rodgers went over to New York, and granted, he got hurt and there was other issues, but the guys that he recruited from the Green Bay Packers to be over there,
as you would say.
They were trash, boo-boo, DNPs, did not play. And so that's what you get when you allow a player to let emotions of what they want get in the way. They do not know everything. They are skilled at playing basketball. There's some guys that can do it, and I'm talking about assume roles like and go into the GM type role. But Giannis' job is to be a heck of an NBA player, not to be a great GM. That's what John Horst gets paid to do, not for Giannis to do that. And let this be a lesson for Giannis and everybody else.
It's a very much be careful what you wish for type thing. Grass isn't greener, whatever thing you want to say. Because again, I do believe that when we talked about Bud being fired, I was like, all right, you better know who's going to be the guy. And this is a scenario in which we're sitting here, in which we shouldn't be sitting here after you signed Giannis, you traded for Dame, and this team feels like if I were to tell you, right, like let's take out all of the Adrian Griffin part of this, of like interactions of players, locker room, stats, whatever. At 43 games in the season, right? If I told you they were going to have a 30-13 record, second place in the East, would you say, like, good hire?
I would say great hire.
Solid.
Exactly.
Good.
And that's a problem in reflection, in my opinion, on letting the players have too much say and having too much opinion on who should be the coach. Players should obviously have an input, but ultimately, if you are a GM, you have to do what's best for your team. And that causes tension, right? It does cause tension, and it's scary because you can't lose a guy like Giannis. You got to keep him happy. So what I will say is they did the right thing by doing what Giannis wanted, but they also did the right thing by cutting bait as soon as possible. Because as soon as you know that this isn't going to work, you got to get rid of him. You had to, and they did that, and it sucks. Nobody wants to see a head coach in his first opportunity fired in 43 games into the season.
Especially with the success that he had. I mean, he's going to – I mean, if he never coaches again, he has one of the highest winning percentages for an NBA coach in NBA.
I guess that's glass half full.
Well, but I wonder – we know that the players had some voice in the hiring. I wonder how much voice the players had in the firing. I wonder if it was the players saying, you know what, we need a change, or if it was the management saying, we gave you all too much say, we're going to right our wrongs.
You've been in a locker room where a coach has been fired after the season, correct?
Both.
And so, during the season.
During the season, Gus Bradley got fired.
And so when Gus Bradley got fired, was there a point during that season where you guys were like, I don't think this is going to work out? Did you kind of foresee this coming, that he was going to be let go?
Yeah, and it was different for him. It was his fourth year of a turnaround, and we weren't any closer to turning things around on the Jaguars. So it was one of those things where everybody knew going into the season you had to see some progress, and there wasn't much progress on the field. The shocking thing is, I mean, the firing after 43 games, I mean, you must have had no hope that you can turn this thing around.
Lost the locker room.
Zero.
No, you lost the locker room, but here's the thing. You said he had 4 years and to try to get it turned around, and then we got halfway through the fourth year, and they decided to cut bait. The Milwaukee Bucks got halfway through the season, and this defense is atrocious. I mean, I was at the game. I was at the game where they allowed 77 points in the first half to the Utah Jazz, and I'm sitting there watching the game, and I'm like, what in the hell is going on out there? I just could not believe it. Just kept scoring. I'm like, I can't even pinpoint what's happening here.
It's hard to sometimes when they score every damn possession.
No, for real, you're just confused. Like, they just that good of shooters, or what's happening here?
And I know this team loses a lot on the defensive side with Holiday, but Brook Lopez, Giannis, those are some of the best defenders in the league.
But I'm really glad you brought that up, because there's been a lot of red flags, guys. The idea that the players had to help the coach figure out how to utilize Brook Lopez best in their defensive scheme is a really bad sign. Because if you're a defensive coach and you want to pressure more and you want to play a certain way, but you don't have the personnel for that, you can't just do it. It doesn't work like that. The best coaches, even if you are a defensive-minded coach, adjust to the personnel that you have. Putting Brook Lopez in a hard head situation where his long, tall, heavy ass has to run back in the paint, weeble wobble, that's not how you do it. He's a drop coverage guy. Like, that's how he was successful. That's how he gets to a point where he's helping the team in the best place possible for them on defense. You had guys out of position. You traded for an older guard who is a Dame time guy. We saw his moment. We saw what he's capable of. That's all I need to see. That's what I want from Dame later on, right, in those moments where we're going to need that most. But what I do know is the personnel that the Bucks have did not match the head coach that they hired, and that's where pushback early would have been good on Giannis in terms of his wanting to have Adrian Griffin. But I guess kudos to John Horst, because Kyle said it. We talked about it with Joe Barry in the middle of the season. All signs were pointing to every reason as to why he shouldn't have been the coach. They didn't do it. The Bucks have a championship window, and they know it, and they did something about it. Now they better, and I mean better, hit the next coach. 800-990-3776. Adrian Griffin out as Milwaukee Bucks head coach. We get to your reaction, 800-990-ESPN. Kyle, Brust, and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin. Reacting with you coming up next.
Hit the road, Jack.
Ben Brust here to tell you about the Princeton Club. I joined the Princeton Club because I was looking for a place I could invest in my health, and the environment and the community I have felt has made it so easy for me to incorporate it into my everyday life. It doesn't matter where you're at in your fitness journey, because they have something to offer everyone. It also goes beyond fitness. From the moment you walk in the club to the moment you walk out, there is a togetherness felt throughout the members and staff that keeps you going for your better tomorrow. Don't wait any longer and get started on your fitness journey today at PrincetonClub.net. That's PrincetonClub.net.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Anjali.
Hi, it's Jennifer Coolidge. I just got an alert for a strange charge on my card.
No problem. We make sure you're never held responsible for unauthorized purchases on your Discover card. Let's see. Did you purchase something from a t-shirt cannon store yesterday?
Absolutely not. No, I already have like 3.
$0 fraud liability guarantee. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/creditcard. Limitations apply.
Get deals on what you need during MVP's bonus days at Lowe's. Right now, save $250 when you buy a DeWalt 12-inch sliding miter saw and adjustable stand together. Plus, save $710 on an LG kitchen suite and earn 3 times the bonus points on all LG appliances. Because Lowe's knows savings, Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details. Bonus points calculated before tax and fees after applicable discounts of any. Valid 1/15 to 1/26. Subject to change.
Hey, Drew Scott here, and I'm Jonathan Scott, reminding you that life's better with a home policy from American Family Insurance. They can help you get just the right protection at just the right price and help you save when you bundle home and auto. Kind of like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It'll be just right for you. We love a custom build. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hi, I'm Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock with Retirement Income Strategies. And what sets us apart is we're an independent, family-run office. We help clients like you understand the financial world and build a portfolio that's in your best interest. To learn more, go to MadisonMoneyGuy.com.
January means it's playoff time for football. The best teams give their best to win the game. And Metro Kia of Madison is giving their best on these amazing lease offers. Get in a 2024 Kia Forte GT for only $299 per month. For 36 months, $3,400 due at signing, 10,000 miles per year. Or drive a 2024 Kia Sportage right off the lot for only $3,500 down and $499 a month for 36 months. Again, 10,000 miles per year. Get these deals at Metro Kia of Madison.
Greg Scalzo here for Buck and Honeys. Congratulations to the perennial Best of Madison Award winner by the folks at Madison Magazine. Meet me at Buck and Honeys to celebrate Wisconsin hospitality. Whether you're enjoying the view on the Yahara River in Monona, exploring Wanakee, visiting the OG in Sun Prairie, or checking out the new location in Mount Horeb, you can enjoy the Buck and Honeys experience in a neighborhood near you. Serving lunch and dinner 7 days a week with brunch every Saturday and Sunday. I'll see you at Buck and Honeys.
We tend not to think about right now, but right now in front of us is victory over cancer. Right now, cancer research funded by the V Foundation is leading to better treatments and saving lives. When you give to the V Foundation, 100% of your donation goes directly to game-changing cancer research. Victory over cancer is there for the taking by you. Donate at V.org, because today's cancer research is tomorrow's victory.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
I'm Shanola Hampton. I support the Feeding America network of food banks because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. Brust and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Milwaukee Bucks have fired Adrian Griffin, dismissed, got rid of, whatever adjective you would like to toss in there. 30-13 record. Is that right?
That's correct.
So, I mean, when I say that out loud, I'm like, how do they do this? But then when I realize all the red flags along the way, go ahead, Kyle.
Have you seen the scores? Since January 1st, the points they've allowed 122, 142, 121, 112, 132, 135, 102, 118, 142.
It's a lot of points.
135 from the Cavaliers, but this is the backbreaker.
I was at the Bucks-Celtics game. They did a great job stopping the second half team of the bench players.
Yeah, because that was a couple days after they allowed 132 to the Jazz.
Back-to-back for the Celtics.
This is what got him fired, if you ask me. The Pistons on Saturday scored 135 points. The Pistons have 4 wins.
No. Yes and no, right?
It had to be
I'm sure it might have been something that was the final nail in the coffin.
Had to be.
But it's not just about defense. It's about the fact that they couldn't figure it out together, right? He was hired to figure it out. He has one of the best defensive players in the NBA. I won't say on ball because it does drive a lot of people nuts that he doesn't take the best player, but part of Giannis' strength is being able to roam around, use his length, get blocks, right? He's better around the rim. But he couldn't figure out how to use his personnel. And your job as a head coach is to maximize the guys on your roster. And I don't want to make this into a who do you blame for Adrian Griffin's hire, because I think we all know it's Giannis. I think it's a moving forward thing, because this is what Packer fans were begging Goody and Murphy to do with Joe Barry. And now maybe it didn't cost the Green Bay Packers a Super Bowl, or maybe it could have if they found a way to beat the Niners. We'll never know. My point being is the Milwaukee Bucks have won a championship more recent than the Green Bay Packers. The Milwaukee Bucks are the foremost team in this state when it comes to championships, always looking for more. Eric Bledsoe wasn't the answer. What do? They trade for Drew Holiday. You didn't believe Drew Holiday was the answer? You found a way to go get Damian Lillard. So Adrian Griffin wasn't the answer. I don't know what the next move is. It seems like Doc Rivers is the guy that everyone is linking to the Milwaukee Bucks. They go out and do things to help them win a championship. So if you get sick of the draft develop and let things play out and are mad like Kyle and myself that they didn't bring competition for Anders Carlson when he missed 8 kicks in 10 games, This is something that should bring a little bit of refreshness to your life.
Yeah, but it's different. I mean, the Packers have the way different than the Bucks, and the NFL is way different than the NBA.
100%.
Trying to set up
but I'm saying as
success.
A fan,
for sure, I love to see a more aggressive than less aggressive organization, particularly in the NBA. And when you look at this, look, the Bucks have no time to waste. I mean, Giannis's window is only so big, and Damian Lillard's window is even smaller. So
Chris Middleton is even smaller than that.
You can't let any season.
He's slow.
Yeah, he's old, man.
Yeah.
He
looks old.
He looked like me.
He looked like you. Yeah, he looks like you when you're wobbling in the studio at 2 o'clock.
The only difference is he's a foot taller and he has a stroke.
And he has $150 million more. Let's go to Joseph in Waukesha, 800-990-ESPN, 800-990-3776, reacting to Adrian Griffin released as the Milwaukee Bucks head coach. Joseph.
Hey, yeah, so I happened to be at the game against the Jazz, and that team looked incredibly unorganized, and there was no energy on defense whatsoever. So I'm actually surprised he wasn't released or fired at halftime of that game. Me and a couple other fans were already making fire Coach Griffin signs and posting them up at the Pfizer. So I don't know. Like it seems like it's a couple weeks overdue.
Yeah, thank you for the call, Joseph. You are right, Kyle. Right, the defense has been horrible. I mean, it's been horrible. Like I'm with you, and I played for a coach that I didn't play my freshman year at the University of Wisconsin because he told me I was the worst defender that ever came into Bo Ryan's Wisconsin program and Wisconsin Platteville Division III program.
Look at me. I get to work with the guy that has that type of accolades to go with.
Exactly. I was that bad at defense, and the only way I was going to make it onto the court was learning how to play defense. And so it's one thing when you are a defensive-minded head coach and you're coming in. If you're putting a standard in and you have your team playing for you, even if it's the philosophy that you wanted to bring in, and they are and you're like, I can't play Brook right now. And I'm not saying that he had the ability to do this. He couldn't because he was a first-year head coach, right? You needed somebody with a resume, with the pedigree that you brought in that had trust, so you could have players that have been in this league, that have been a part of a championship organization and a run in 2021 where they won the whole thing, be like, you know what? I can listen to this guy. I can 110% see why there was turmoil within the locker room and head coach, because it's hard to listen to somebody when they come in, putting in a philosophy that doesn't reach the personnel in the most optimized way. And you're like, well, why am I going to listen to this guy? We were just fine without him.
I'm curious, in your opinion, Ben, you played basketball high level. When it comes to defense specifically,
is Giannis' teammate in the summer league?
You were as
another bad personnel decision by the Milwaukee Bucks. Is my 2 minutes a game.
Was that John Horst or was that the
John Hammond? Okay. But John Hammond drafted Giannis, so I don't want John Hammond slander right now.
So when it comes to defense specifically, is it more important for it to be schematically right or effort? Have that be right? Or is it just both?
It's both. This is a world championship level team. This team won.
But we see the way NBA players play defense sometimes. Sometimes there's a little bit of lack of effort in the regular season.
Giannis does not stand for lack of effort. He's made it very clear in press conferences. So, in my opinion, when Giannis is really upset about the effort of his teammates, that means the head coach has not done a good job of giving them reasons why they should listen to him. And that's the problem that you have when you bring in a first-year head coach with no head coaching experience. It is one thing to be an assistant coach that has a couple of good when I say buddies, right? There's those players coaches, right? If you have a guy who's a head coach that's tough, you always want to have those coaches that can reach the players that have been through it. But if you are that guy now, it is different. It is different, especially when the expectations are as high as they should be in Giannis's window.
Yeah, they just made a huge mistake. As I continue to reflect on this, the Bucks had no business hiring a first-time head coach in the situation that they had. This team was ready-made for an NBA championship and got that much better when they did get rid of Drew Holiday, but they brought in Damian Lillard to help them offensively be able to outscore teams. And at this point, I'm sure the players knew, people in the organization knew, they all saw, they all felt, they all understood that there was no path forward for this team. The players had to have felt like they were winning despite their coach. And when you have a team winning despite their coach and playing this horrific on defense, it isn't sustainable. So this had to be coming for a while for the Milwaukee Bucks. They must have knew something was going to happen. But obviously there was a disconnect between Adrian Griffin, which is causing a disconnect in that locker room, where John Horst decided he needed to make a decision to move forward. And now It's going to be on his shoulders because this is, at the end of the day, yes, Giannis made it, like Giannis wanted Adrian Griffin, but that falls on John Horst and this organization to make the best decision overall for this organization.
But what if it meant Giannis didn't sign?
I mean, I guess if that was all part of the plan,
well,
I mean, but it's
this
tough.
might end up being okay
Giannis,
for John Horst and management. If they got Giannis to sign an extension, they got rid of the coach that's going to help them, as long as they get the right guy to optimize this team moving forward.
I don't think Adrian Griffin is the reason why Giannis signed. He signed because he saw the decision with Damian Lillard, showing the commitment to winning, to being able to pull in Damian Lillard. That's the reason why Giannis signed that extension. It didn't have to do with the coach. Giannis would have been upset, and maybe he wouldn't have signed it right away if they did not heed his advice or heed what he wanted in signing Adrian Griffin. But that Damian Lillard trade was the thing that showed Giannis that we are committed to trying to have excellence here. We're committed to trying to win championships here, and that's what convinced Giannis. And at this point, I mean, obviously Giannis was in on this firing as well. I just hope Giannis has no say on who the next coach is of the Bucks.
Here's the other thing that adds complication to this whole thing, right?
You had a team.
I mean, Coach, it might have been friction. He got to talk with Coach Bud, and there might have been friction between him and Coach Bud, but that happens in relationships as they grow over time. Bud was here 4 or 5 years. That ends up happening. But as a player, you cannot expect, a coach that's going to say yes to everything that you want to do. If you want to walk all over your coach, that is not successful and sustainable for winning championships. He ain't LeBron James, nor is he Michael Jordan. He ain't Kobe. I love me some Giannis, but Giannis ain't won championship after championship after championship. I know. I've only been to one parade.
Well, he's our Kobe.
I've only been to one parade.
Like, you can't just get him in Milwaukee.
No, but I'm saying, though, at the end of the day, is Giannis don't know what's best for everybody. And, heck, Phil Jackson had butt heads with Kobe Bryant. That's what happens when greatness meets greatness. And I'm not saying you got to bring back Bud. I'm not saying you weren't wrong for firing Bud, but what I'm saying is you need to take his advice, but make your own professional decision on who you bring in next.
That's why you need a coach with experience, because you can butt heads with somebody that you have a mutual respect with. I don't think there was ever that.
And there's a way to go about doing that with superstars, right? I mean, I think Phil Jackson gets a bad rap because he's like, oh, well, you had Michael Jordan and Kobe and Shaq. It takes a really, really good coach, a really self-aware man and leader to be able to handle all those egos. Here's the other thing that I think adds complication to this. You remove Drew Holiday, you add in Damian Lillard. Awesome trade. We all loved it. That changes the DNA of your team. This is a completely different team.
Then he got hired to coach?
I don't think they knew who this team needed. And they realized that, you know what, Adrian Griffin is not the guy because this is a different team than we thought than we needed for a head coach.
800-990-3776. That's the ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. Taking your reaction on the YouTube at ESPN Madison, at ESPN Milwaukee. Now here's what I mentioned. This feels like when LeBron did fire David Blatt, right? Like they were I believe very similar situation. They brought in Ty Lue and won the title. So and here's why it's similar. For those who don't know the specifics, is David Blatt was coaching overseas, right? He came into a situation where he was not an established NBA head coach. Ty Lue had rapport. Ty Lue had NBA background, etc. And they won a championship. So it's going to be interesting who they bring in. A lot of people are saying, I'm sorry for anything I said bad about Coach Bud. And I get it. It's okay to feel that way because the man brought a championship here. And sometimes it is time to move on. It doesn't mean that this is going to be a net negative for the Bucks, but it leaves a question that needs to be solved, is who's going to be the right guy for this roster. And I say this roster because they picked a guy that wasn't right for this roster. We got to get to Mark Tauscher, and here's why. Not only is he a Packer Hall of Famer, he is a state champion in high school basketball, and he loves NBA basketball. I call him the novice of all things NBA. Mark Tauscher, Packers Hall of Famer, super fan of the Milwaukee Bucks. As I went to a game, Bucks-Spurs, in which Wemby didn't play. We were robbed. We'll hear from Mark Tauscher. He's got thoughts. Coming up next.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, presented by Bud Light.
When I'm, again, doing the Pack Arena, and as a shareholder, when I'm sizing up my ring, I'm sizing up my ring
Pack Arena right now.
1 pack, 2 pack, 3 pack Arena.
Hey.
What's the rest of the words? Jordan up to Christian Watson. Nay, that's a touchdown.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
You can drive cutting-edge design. 2024 Audis are on the lot and ready for delivery. You can save $7,500 on select Audi EVs with the AFS EV lease bonus. See dealer for details and exclusions. Eligibility is subject to credit approval through Audi Financial Services. Cannot be combined with national customer credit. Offer expires January 31st, 2024. Stop in and test drive today. Check out our website to see our current electric vehicle inventory and our monthly specials. The search for your Audi begins and ends at Zimbrick Audi of Madison, off the Beltline and Rimrock Road. Drive yours today.
Progressive knows we're all trying to save right now.
Hey, at least we're still enjoying baseball on a Saturday night, right?
Even if it is T-ball.
Yeah, but tickets to the majors are just so expensive now. And who knows, maybe we're seeing a pro in the making.
Sure, in like 20 years.
How is he safe? Boo! This ump stinks!
The ump is only 14. We don't really do that.
Oh, my bad.
You're doing a great job, ump.
Progressive offers you savings without sacrifice. So save big when you bundle home and auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Life has its moments, times to remember and share. Make the most of those special occasions by visiting Goodman's Jewelers at 220 State Street. John Hayes from Goodman's Jewelers. We're here to help you make that perfect selection for your memorable moment. When you think of diamonds, you hear about color, cut, clarity, and carat weight. We can help you understand that, but we're equally concerned with earning your trust with the quality of our selection and our service. Goodman'sJewelers.com, in the heart of downtown Madison. Truly a destination worth reaching.
Dash the Dane. That's right, Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company has expanded their delivery offerings with DoorDash. New customers get $5 off your first order of $25 or more. And don't forget, Dash Pass subscribers always receive free delivery. Order delivery today at GreatDanePub.com or on the DoorDash app and get food delivered from the Great Dane closest to you. Downtown, Hilldale, Fitchburg, or East Madison. Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company, Madison's home for craft beer and pub food since 1994.
Sockberry Healthcare is here to help. To help with your shoulder pain,
your knee injury,
that hip that bothers you, with your foot or ankle pain.
We focus on quality.
We focus on results.
And take time to listen.
So that your care is the best care. For you.
You. You. You.
For you. We're here for you.
Sauk Prairie Healthcare Orthopedics. Listening, healing, caring. It's in our nature.
Okay, if you love playing fantasy sports, do what I do and take the sports action to the next level with PrizePicks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Mark Tauscher here, and right now I am in sports heaven. With the football playoffs in full swing and basketball season really heating up, there is no better way to turn all the big games into 100 times your money with PrizePicks. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projection for a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. It is that easy. You can turn $10 into $1,000 with just a few taps. I love the easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and a huge selection of players and stat options. And check this out. PrizePicks is the only daily fantasy platform with injury insurance to keep you in the game even if one of your players goes down. Over 7 million sports fans have already signed up, and I'm one of them. So join me and watch your favorite players and get paid doing it. Right now, PrizePicks will match your first deposit of up to $100. Just download the PrizePicks app and use the promo code WI. That's code WI on PrizePicks for a first deposit match of up to $100. PrizePicks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you. Only
always a fitting song. Every single day it is, but especially on Tuesdays when Mark Tauscher, Packers Hall of Famer, joins us here on Kyle, Brust, and Nortman as the breaking news per Adrian Wojnarowski. Adrian Griffin let go as head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. And I genuinely mean this. Tausch, I go to you for NBA. You are my NBA guy. Mark Tauscher, your reaction to Adrian Griffin being let go?
Surprised. I think, there's obviously a lot of talk, but there's a lot of talk about everything. When you have a star player and you have a team that's always in the mix for a championship, and they're not playing defense, and they're kind of getting blown out, and it just doesn't look right. But it's still only 3, 4. How many months has he been the coach?
43 games. 30 and 13.
And he got hired in July.
Tied for third shortest NBA head coach tenure in history.
Yeah, I mean, that part's crazy to me. So it's early. Obviously, they did not think things were getting fixed to the degree that they felt they needed them to. And that's why you make the decision that you do. So now who's in place? Who's taking over? Those are the questions I need Ben Brust to answer.
I mean, it has to be someone with experience because clearly you bring in a first-year head coach, and there's been a lot of red flags in terms of him admitting coaching mistakes and how the players had to correct him. You need someone where there's mutual respect. And Doc Rivers is the guy that's being linked to the team right now in reports. But again, when you get rid of
Bud? When you bring Bud back,
I mean, that's a hard thing to do. You know that. You know that.
It's a hard thing to fire a coach. It's a hard
I
thing
agree.
to fire a coach.
He won them a championship for the first time in 50 years. The grass isn't always greener, and we're seeing that.
Yeah, I mean, it's from an organizational standpoint, it looks rough. It's a tough look for an organization that you want to show stability. You want to show, that things are heading in the right direction. But there's also a part of you that looks and you have to say, if it's not working, it's not working. And don't waste a year when you're in the luxury tax. You got Dame, you got Giannis. You need to take advantage of these years. And if you don't feel like you're trending in the direction that can lead you to a championship, I applaud the team for going about it, doing it that way, if that's how they feel.
Mark, you actually said exactly what I think is perfect and fitting for a different team in this state as well. If it's not working, it's not working, and move on to try to get somebody better. That was my thought when I heard this news. I said, we fired Adrian Griffin. I wish the Packers would have did the same thing with Joe Barry. Do you think this is something that the Packers should have done, and they would have been better off if they would have fired Joe Barry during the season when there were some rifts between the players and Joe Barry, and it just seemed like this defense was not playing to the best of their ability?
No, because I think the defense turned it around, and this team had an opportunity to go to a Super Bowl. So I understand where you're thinking, and after Carolina, it looked brutally bad, but they did turn it around, and the defense played well enough and was in position. Now, that doesn't mean I think he should be back next year, but there is something about, giving that jolt to the team. And I felt like after the Carolina game, and you saw how Joe was reacting in the pressers, the team got that jolt by not firing Joe Barry. So it's all about what do you need to do to get the best out of your players. It felt like that's the way the Packers went, and it seemed to have worked, at least for the last 5 or 6 weeks of the season.
Tauscher, there's a lot we don't know about who's going to be next head coach of the Bucs, how the players are going to respond to this. But from what little we do know, do you think this team is now more or less likely to hoist an NBA championship this year?
Well, I think more, because I think for most of us that watch the NBA and try to keep up with it, it seemed as if defensively it just isn't working. And, you can outscore people, but, when it gets to be playoff time, it's about possessions and being able to get stops. And does anybody feel like the Bucs are going to make critical stops as they're constituted right now?
I think Tausch in your heyday could have got some buckets.
Well, if that's the case, then that really tells you that this team was not going to win a championship. So does that mean that you're going to stand pat with the roster? I don't know any of those answers, but it becomes abundantly clear. You don't make this decision, and this is a rash decision. Again, you don't see coaches get fired mid-season on teams that where are the Bucs, third in the conference right now?
Well, I can tell you this. In 2016, David Blatt was fired by the Cavaliers, and they hired Ty Lue and won the championship that year.
Well, there you go. So, obviously, this is a championship organization. They've won it. They've been positioned well on a consistent basis, so they know what it looks like. And obviously what it's been portrayed and what you've seen isn't good enough. And I applaud. Again, it's easy to stand pat and say, it wasn't our year. They didn't do that. And so now, whether or not you can't just do something to do something. You have to improve with what you're doing. Who comes in is going to, and how the guys react. And if you're going to have a different defensive scheme, all of those things are the question as far as how is this going to work?
Tausch, do you think it's possible the Bucks can actually bring in an outside coach halfway through the season and think it can actually be successful? Because you're talking about bringing in a scheme. I mean, that is off-season type training stuff. Once you have the season started, there's not too much you can do to implement a defensive scheme, is there?
Well, you can go back to what you were doing. The thing that was a red flag immediately to me was, the Brook Lopez, the drop defense, and all that. And the fact that you just snap your fingers and 2 games into the season, say, "Oh yeah, we'll go back and do that." That should be that was a big red flag for me. So I think you can, with a veteran team like this, you bring in a veteran coach that has his ground rules. They're going to adjust to the players that you have. And Brook has obviously been a defensive player of the year, or he should have been. He is somebody that you lean on to kind of set the tone. How you approach it in the other way with Giannis and some of the other guys, that's how you're going to figure this thing out. And a veteran coach that commands respect, I don't think you can bring a young guy in. I definitely think it's going to be somebody on the outside, and it's going to be somebody that's got some veteran gravitas, if you will.
Right now, Tauscher, a lot of wrong answers only going on in the YouTube chat. We got Coach K, Phil Jackson, Shaq, Bill Belichick. Any you'd like to submit for the Bucks head coach?
Belichick would be fascinating.
That would be fun.
Fascinating. I would be fascinated to watch. He's obviously shown lacrosse that he can do it. He's done it. It would be crazy. What about trying to pull Pat Riley out of the Heat? That would be crazy. I don't think that's.
Would you leave South Beach at that age for Milwaukee?
Heck, no.
No, I don't think I would, but I don't think I'm saying I wouldn't. If I could do it, I would. That would be a fantastic one. Who else is even available at this point?
Larry Brown.
Who are some of the veteran coaches? Larry Brown.
He's still alive, I believe.
Last I remember him, he was coaching SMU down in college basketball.
We'll cross him off the list then.
We got Harbaugh. We got Mike Holmgren on the
Harbaugh.
chat.
Oh, come on, Mike Holmgren. His last tenure with the. Obviously Doc Rivers is somebody that people are going to say. I think you have
George Karl.
Bo Ryan.
Hell no. George Karl better not step foot in Wisconsin. He's banned.
No.
He's banned. You understand that,
George
yeah.
Karl's out.
Yeah, we know that.
No
Me and
George
Tausch, we know. No George.
Yeah, I think I think obviously Doc being a Marquette guy, it could be an interesting deal. But if you're really looking at it, has Doc won a ton? He won with the Celtics, right? And then had a ton of teams kind of bouncing around. Didn't get it done with the Clippers. Didn't get it done with
Philly?
the Celtics or with the Philadelphia 76ers. I don't know who it's going to be, but it's going to be fascinating to watch who it ends up being.
Tom Crean, also a submission. I love that.
Bo
Somebody get this on Twitter. Wrong answers only, because we hit the pretty wrong one. Third shortest tenure in the NBA. Wrong answers only.
How would Bo Ryan do as an NBA
coach? He would be miserable. He would be miserable. Are you kidding me?
He can't yell at somebody like that.
Would he be able to get through to these guys and get this team humming?
Absolutely not. And I love Bo to death as a basketball
Doesn't sound
coach.
like it.
Okay, how many successful college basketball coaches have made the jump to the NBA? The most recent is Brad Stevenson. He took himself out of the NBA to be a freaking front office.
I got a name for you.
I don't think
got
Coach
a
K
name
is too
for
crazy.
you guys. I got a name for you right now.
Jay Wright.
Larry Bird. Larry Bird.
That's so good.
Larry teaching defense or what?
Larry Bird had a ton of success with the Indiana Pacers.
Coach
Indiana's been
Anderson.
coming at us. Larry Bird.
Old T, before we let you go, we were going to do this, and we may get to it. Your way too early expectations for 2024 Green Bay Packers.
I'm going to be honest with you. I can't think about anything but the Milwaukee Bucks head coaching job now.
Good.
So,
Good. That's what we're doing.
Is it all right if I pass?
You can
I'll
pass
do this next week.
Yeah.
I'm going to pass because I'm just now. You have me thinking, who can we get to be the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks that's going to turn this around in a big name? I don't want Coach K. I don't want him. I don't want him coming here. But if they do,
Jackie Moon.
Fascinating, tantalizing deal too. Larry Bird. Put me down for Larry Bird.
Right now, leader in the clubhouse for Mark Tauscher is Larry Bird. Keep him coming. 800-990-3776. Wrong answers for the Milwaukee Bucks net head coach.
What about Chuck Barkley?
You think Chuck Barkley is going to take that big old salary to sit there and rip on people?
Sure he won't. No, of course he wouldn't.
Gosh, what a
There's got to
gig.
be somebody else that we're forgetting about that would be really funny to put on this role.
How about like Stephen A?
Got to be somebody
Stephen A.
else.
Smith.
Oh, come on,
he thinks he knows everything about basketball.
He does until he starts coaching. You realize he knows nothing.
Old T, anything else before we let you go?
That's all I got. I am just this whole thing is just shaking me to the core.
You'll be all right, Big T.
All right, fellas.
Mark Tauscher, Packers Hall of Famer. Catch him 9 to noon across these very stations, 800-990-3776. Who do you want to be the next head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks? Wrong answers only, and make them good.
John McLaughlin.
That's a good answer.
Johnny Mack.
Johnny Mack,
Like
baby.
that.
I don't think
Bill
this-
Plaschke. Him and Bill Plaschke.
He can motivate this team.
Yeah, two of them. I don't know if their health is where it needs to be.
I love Travis Diener, good guy, but get him out of the chat. 800-990-3776. Adrian Griffin, relieved from his duties as Milwaukee Bucks head coach, will continue to rack with you. 800-990-ESPN, 800-990-3776. I love some of these answers. We'll get to your responses next.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN.
I nailed it, though. I said, she didn't go to the back of the bus. She
Yeah.
said, I ain't moving.
Yeah, you right.
I'm not leaving.
Well,
I'm not bleeping leaving.
No, you right.
Presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Alex Strofe.
Varsity on Wisconsin On Demand is home to all the latest and best Badgers content on ESPN Wisconsin. Subscribe on Apple, Spotify, Wisconsin On Demand, and wherever you get your podcasts. There were two notable coaching changes for the Wisconsin football program last week. At the beginning of the week, new offensive line coach A.J. Blazik was introduced to the staff. Blazik replaces former offensive line coach Jack Bicknell Jr. after just one season in Madison. Reported Thursday night by ESPN's Pete Thamel, now former Wisconsin safeties coach and co-defensive coordinator Colin Hitchler has accepted an assistant coaching position with the University of Alabama. The Badgers play Alabama week 3 of the season at Camp Randall Stadium.
Badger Minutes on ESPN Wisconsin are brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Schedule an appointment online today at PellaWI.com.
From color-changing alexandrite to shimmering zircon and everything in between at Chalmers Jewelers, you'll find high-quality, affordable, one-of-a-kind pieces. We source straight from the gem cutters, and we manufacture in-house from start to finish. As the manufacturer, we believe in truth in pricing. Never pay more for quality and stunning, beautiful jewelry. She's one of a kind, and so should her jewelry be. While others may send your jewelry dreams to someone else to make, with us, your dreams become reality with the help of our custom jewelers, with you involved the whole way. With a staff that has over 200 years of combined experience, why buy from a place that marks up jewelry made by the thousands? When you can buy direct from Chalmers for that one-of-a-kind piece that is better quality, often for less.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
And Madison.
Get ready for Frozen Assets, a celebration of our lakes presented by Associated Bank in the Edgewater. This 10-day event kicks off on January 27th with a can't-miss fundraiser. Tickets are on sale now. Then head to the Edgewater and Lake Mendota all week for daily events. The popular Frozen Assets 5K Run Walk is on Saturday, February 3rd, as well as the festival featuring free ice skating, show kites, ice science, hot chocolate, and more. Learn more at cleanlakesalliance.org.
Hi, this is Lee, inviting you to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. We got a great happy hour every day of the week from 4 o'clock to 7, and our patio during the summer is open too. If you're getting married, a special occasion, a birthday, anniversary, or even a business meeting, we've got all the accommodations right here at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. You work hard and sometimes you're not sure what you want to do, where you want to spend your money. I want to encourage you to come into Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and say hello. It'd be a pleasure to meet you.
What is a better buying experience? Well, you're minutes away from a better buying experience at Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb. Jim Rutledge here. To me, a better buying experience is a personal experience. That's what Dan and his sales team have set up at Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb. You're going to have the experience that you're looking for. You're going to define what that better buying experience is for you, and they're going to get you in the vehicle that you need and that you want, whether it's new or new to you. So when you're looking for a better buying experience, go to Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb.
They say love is a universal language. Well, that's definitely true if you're talking about bacon. I mean, who doesn't love bacon? Forget the chocolates. Give the gift of bacon. It's everyone's love language. And you're going to love it that our bacon's on sale right now. With quick hot savings, we're taking bacon down to $2.49 a 12-ounce pack. Limit 2. Savings on bacon? Whoa, that's 2 love languages at once. And we're multilingual like that. Quick Trip. We're saving your bacon.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. Brust and Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Lots of great suggestions from KBN Nation on YouTube at ESPN Madison, on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee, as well as the ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. We are asking you, wrong answers only since the Bucks got this one wrong. Who should be the next Milwaukee Bucks head coach? Randy in the 414, Craig Counsell, he who must not be named, don't give me that one. Bugs Bunny, great recruiter. Can't argue that one. We get some talent.
That's
Michael
true.
Jordan. Woo. What's his guy from Caddyshack?
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray.
He pulled some rank on that team.
Larry isn't white. Larry's clear. Underrated line in
Space Jam.
Yeah, in Space Jam when they're golfing. Bruce Pearl. Hey, I like Bruce Pearl. And Chef Ed chimes in. You couldn't find a more passionate person from Milwaukee than Kyle Wallace. Let's go to Randy in
Don't have me out
Hartford.
there. They be running nonstop after the game. They hate me.
Randy in Hartford. Welcome into KBN.
Hi. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah. Hi.
Yeah, I was gonna say this time next year, Mike McCarthy.
Oh,
Hey,
now
he's
hear
another one who
now
can't
hear me
come
out.
back to
Here's why I
Wisconsin.
like this one.
Hey,
Mike McCarthy as the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. We know that he'll yell at high school referees. I don't know if you remember that story.
He yelled at.
He got seen to the parking lot. So my man's gonna step up for Giannis and make sure nobody's doing Giannis wrong.
No, he won a championship here, football wise. But anybody who left with a sour taste in my mouth.
Is there anybody?
George
You know how we
Karl,
have like the
Mike
two-sport
McCarthy.
athletes. Like, are there any two-sport coaches that have won champion? There's probably not.
Deion Sanders.
Coaches.
He's a good he coached football. I'm sure he coaches kids in baseball.
All right, we talk a little league here. And how did Deion's season go after beating TCU?
I mean, we'll see.
I'm a believer. I'm just saying, calm yourself down.
Think of some people.
When you
Bo
said
Jackson.
two sport coaches, I immediately thought of Ted Lasso. That's what I thought of.
I've never seen it.
You ever seen Ted Lasso?
Very good, Brad.
Thank you.
Brad also asked for Samuel L. Jackson, Coach Carter.
I'm big in the fictional
yes,
coaches.
yes. Gene Hackman, Hoosiers.
Yep.
I don't think Gene Hackman is a good coach for this Milwaukee Bucks team. Jimmy Chitwood's a shooter. We don't need shooters. We need defense. Scott in West Dallas, welcome back in. Excuse me with the welcome back. Welcome into Kyle, Brust, and Nortman.
I was going to say Coach Bud, but I had to change my answer because I think he's the right answer. So the wrong answer, how about Woody Harrelson?
Hey!
Oh, that's a good one.
Well, Woody's not much of a coach. He's more of a player getting himself into debt and trying to pay that off from White Men Can't Jump. I appreciate the call.
He coached the kids in the movie. He's a pretty good coach.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Scott.
It's kind of like a player's coach in semi-pro.
Yeah,
right?
that's
Woody
Jack.
Harrelson?
I saw Jackie Moon on the YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee. As Adrian Griffin fired as Milwaukee Bucks head coach, 800-990-3776. Again, 800-990-ESPN.
The funniest one in the chat here, somebody said, bring the defensive guru and Joe Barry down from Green Bay. 2 birds with 1 stone. That is a great idea. Actually, I would be very happy.
You would, Kyle?
Because you know what John Horst is proving? John Horst ain't doing what Matt LaFleur is doing. Matt LaFleur, what he didn't tell you is he prays when Anders Carlson kicks, but he also prayed when Joe Barry sent his defense out there. John Horst don't do no praying. John Horst had Joe Barry for a week. He said, get his ass up out of here, too.
No praying, just he's all about the smoke.
He all about the smoke.
All about it. Chris chimes in, Homer for head coach. Hell no. Homer from 5 to 6 in the Homer Hour on ESPN Milwaukee. No, thank you.
Yeah, no, Homer wouldn't work either.
No.
He would just be yelling at him all the time. Always yelling.
Back in my day when I played tennis.
Yeah. I'm from Indiana. We breed basketball players. I don't know why I was doing that accent for Homer. That was horrible.
He would change all the warm-up music to Dr. Duke. The guys that he always has on.
What is this, Meek Mill? No. I told you what to play.
I had said Larry Sanders while you were gone. What do you think about that one, Kyle?
I mean, they'll be happy.
Pain management.
Yeah, they'd be good.
Very loose.
Yeah, very, very loose.
Now, Tony Dungy, no thank you. Now, I do want to move the conversation forward here a little bit as well. Keep them coming, 800-990-3776. I see Rich and Greendale chime in with Darvin Ham. Now, here's why I think bringing that up is interesting, right? Because when you let go of Coach Bud, you if you have a guy that was hired by the Los Angeles Lakers, whether that works out for them or not, right? They won the in-season tournament. They then sucked for a while. I think they're turning it around in LA. But my point being is when you move on from Bud, you also, are kind of moving on from the coaching tree, right? And you have internal candidates that you want to groom in any organization. They all have aspirations to be a head coach. That if you are moving on from somebody like Coach Bud who brought you a championship, it still does make me mad that you get to a point in which Adrian Griffin is fired 43 games into the season. The right move. But when you're a championship organization, right, when I did this comp of LeBron with David Blatt, when they brought in David Blatt in 2016 and the Cavs fired him, they won the championship for Cleveland, and it was a whole big deal, right? Cleveland, LeBron brought it home, etc. But my point around that is they were trying to get to a championship. The Bucks won a championship. They're in the window of a championship. This isn't the time to be figuring out how to win a championship. You need to be doing it, not figuring it out. So that's my only pessimism when it comes to the mid-season firing is, you should be at the apex of this season, figuring out what you need to do to win it.
Well, and now they're at a very interesting decision point because, and maybe this can be something that, KBN Nation, you guys chime in. If you guys were the Bucks, do you guys find a guy just to be a stopgap one-year coach to just finish out the year and try to get a championship?
No stopgaps.
Or try to think long-term because you don't have a full pool of candidates. So how are you going to try to hire a guy that might be your coach for 3 years when you don't even have a full pool of guys that you'd like to interview from?
Yeah, this. I'm telling you this right now.
Tough spot to be in.
It is a tough spot, and this could be a crossroads for this organization, for the Milwaukee Bucks. This could be a point where you go into turmoil because if you get this wrong,
it goes two of which ways.
Well, exactly. But here's the thing: if they all go south, and this team all of a sudden dips down and they lose more games, and this does not fix the problem, and then you go into next season and that problem still persists where you still can't play defense, that means the Giannis and Dame, I wouldn't say experiment, I thought it was going to be an experience for his fans, did not work, and that means this organization will be at a crossroads because when people see things don't work, that's when people get disgruntled, and that's when they want to move on. So they better get this right or we're going to be in trouble here in Milwaukee.
I am very proud of KBN Nation right now because some of these answers are just phenomenal. As Ersan Ilyasova back with the team for the 80th time again, this time as head coach. Carlos Delfino, Meta World Peace, Lou Alcindor, a.k.a. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, or other way around, a.k.a. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. 800. His name is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but he went by Lou Alcindor at the time, correct?
When he played for the Bucks?
Yes.
Yes.
800-990-3776. Brian in Milwaukee, you're up. Brian, go once.
Mark Jackson.
Hand down, man down. That would be perfect for Dame Lillard. Hand down, man down. But again, we need somebody who the Warriors didn't move on from to then start winning championships. We need that was two in-between wrong answers only, because I could actually make an argument that he was a decent head coach, but just not the right one to win a championship. Happy Gilmore. I'm fine with that, too.
Somebody said Lenny Wilkins. Lenny Wilkins is damn near 100.
I mean, more like Chubbs Peterson, though.
Yeah, as a coach.
Right? Yeah, as a coach.
A one-handed coach to coach basketball. Way to go, Brad.
What is that, Coach Peter? What's the coach that you love from Waterboy?
Mr. Coach Klein.
Coach Klein.
Mr. Coach Klein said I could.
Yeah, I mean,
if he can teach Waterboy to play football,
Yeah, what else is in that green notebook,
I love when he turns into the little baby. Look at the little baby. Terry Stotts, that's a real answer. Shaka Smart, come on now. He's got to make it to the second weekend of the tournament before I even bring his name up. 800-990-3776. We're back in 2 minutes. Adrian Griffin, let go by the Milwaukee Bucks. More reaction, more Packers, a whole lot more. Holy cow. We got to do Are You Smarter Than Ben Brust?
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow, we do.
800-990-ESPN. Caller number, Caller number 8. 800-990-3776. Are these just going to be NBA head coaches I got to rattle off here? And Are You Smarter Than Ben Brust?
Oh, I don't know. That would be the over-under.
Yeah, usually is. 800-990-ESPN. Caller 8, 15 questions in 90 seconds. These are supposed to be fifth-grade questions, but they're usually a lot harder. 800-990-3776. Caller 8, Are You Smarter Than Ben Brust in 2 minutes? And then Adrian Griffin, Milwaukee Bucks, Green Bay Packers. The show is yours.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it yourself at 2 convenient Madison locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. Honda certified technicians handle it all. You can even get flexible payment options. Fix your car now and pay later. Apply online to see your options in seconds with no hard credit check. Make your service appointment online at ZimbrickHonda.com. Zimbrick Honda Service Center on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
Hi, this is Dave Kane. You're listening to Madison's Home of the Bucks, a good Karma brand radio station, 100.5 ESPN WTLX, Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
What's happening, Madison? I'm Alex Gravatt. This is your Sports Center, brought to you by Zimbrick Honda's Mania. Don't miss Tuesday night's Girl Basketball Showdown when Wanakee visits third-ranked Minota Grove. Coverage starts at 7 o'clock on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. Metro Kia of Madison breaking news today out of Milwaukee as the Bucks fire head coach Adrian Griffin, according to ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. Woj also reports that interim head coach will be Joe Prunty, who was the interim head coach for the Bucks back in 2018 before they brought in Coach Budenholzer. And the Bucks organization will begin interviewing a small group of qualified candidates, including Doc Rivers, for the head coaching vacancy. Here's Woj on the move.
They looked at where this team was, how it was responding under Griffin, although the second best record right now, 30-13, that they have such a tight championship window with Giannis Antetokounmpo, certainly the Damian Lillard trade, which happened after they hired Griffin as head coach. And they made a decision to make the change.
Griffin was 30-13 in his time with the Bucks. With just 43 games, that is the third shortest head coaching term in NBA history.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studios in Madison, this is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN. Presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
KBN rolling along on a Tuesday, an eventful Tuesday at that, a Tuesday we were not anticipating, where the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, Adrian Griffin, gets fired. That was a surprise, and we've been talking about that all show. We're going to take one quick break, though, as we do every Tuesday at this time, to determine if KBN Nation is smarter than Ben Brust. And today we have Steve in Edgerton. Steve, how you feeling today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Doing great. Love that optimism. And I'm eager to see if and when Steve is indeed smarter than Ben Brust. So, Chris, let's spin it.
For those of you who say Ben Brust is an idiot, here's your chance to be proven right. It's time to play Are You Smarter Than Ben Brust?
All right, Steve, we play this every week, but just as a reminder of what the rules of the contest are, it's 15 questions in 90 seconds to get as many answers correct as you can. You're allowed to say pass, and we'll come back to you if you get through the rest. If you beat Ben Brust, you will win a $25 gift card. Any questions before we get going, Steve?
Nope.
Awesome. Well, let's get rolling then in 3, 2, 1. What is the name of the protective layer around the Earth that shields us from harmful solar radiation?
Ozone.
What is the document that begins with "We the People" and is the supreme law of the United States?
Bill of Rights.
What is the name of the first permanent English
Oh,
settlement?
it's the Constitution. Constitution.
Okay. What is the name of the first permanent English settlement in North America?
Ooh, Jonestown.
What is the capital city of Canada?
Edmonton.
When a story takes place in the future and it involves advanced technology, the genre is often classified as what?
Sci-fi.
What is the term for a humorous play on words that have similar sound effects but different meanings?
Soliloquy.
What do we call force that opposes motion of one surface as it moves across another surface?
Friction.
Who is the third president of the United States and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence?
Thomas Jefferson.
What is the capital city of South Korea?
South Korea. Oh, pass.
What is the capital of Belgium?
Bangkok. No, pass.
What is the first patented invention by Thomas Edison?
Glasses.
What is the center of a cell called?
Nucleus.
Okay.
I got Stephen Edgerton for 6 correct answers.
Okay, 6 correct answers.
It's a lot harder when you're actually doing it live. When you're just doing it like playing around, it's a lot different.
For sure. I mean, you're exactly right. And for the record, there was a couple that he abbreviated that we're going to count as correct, right?
Yes.
Okay. I want to get that all up front.
Yes.
But Steve, you're right. I mean, it is, when you are on the clock live on radio, it is a tough situation as I'm just hitting you with questions. But you did a great job. And now we have Ben Brust walking back in the room, ready to take his portion of Are You Smarter Than Ben Brust? Ben, how you feeling?
Powerful!
Powerful's right. Powerful! You know how the games play, but let me just remind you, you get 15 questions in 90 seconds or less. To get as many answers correct as you can, you're allowed to say pass, and we'll come back to it if you get through the rest. And if Steve beats you, Steve from Edgerton, he's going to win a $25 gift card.
Let's do it.
Are you ready? All right, here we go in 3, 2, 1. What is the name of the protective layer around the Earth that shields us from harmful solar radiation?
The ozone.
What is the document that begins with "We the People" and is the supreme law of the United States?
The Constitution.
What is the name of the first permanent English settlement in North America?
Delaware.
What is the capital city of Canada?
I was there. Ottawa.
What story takes place in the future and it involves advanced technology? What genre is that usually classified
Science
as?
fiction.
What is the term for a humorous play on words where a similar sounds but has different meanings?
I don't know this one. Pass.
What do we call force that opposes the motion of one surface as it moves across another surface?
I hate word questions. Like the toughy, sciencey ones. Pass.
Who is the third president of the United States who is also the principal author of the Declaration of Independence?
Jefferson.
What is the capital city of South Korea?
Seoul.
What is the capital of Belgium?
Pass.
What is the first patented invention by Thomas Edison?
Light bulb.
What is the center of a cell called?
Pass.
What is the name of a value assigned to an amount of moisture in the air?
These are stupid. Next.
How many Great Lakes are located entirely in the United States
5.
territory? How many?
5.
What?
What do you mean how many? I gave a number.
Okay.
All right. Well,
I think Steve won, right?
He won because you guys tied with 6 apiece.
Oh! Congratulations, Steve.
Ben had a chance to pull it out at the end, but he could not get the answer.
Entirety.
Yes.
So that means they're only in the U.S., right?
Either way, I wasn't going to know that answer.
Was it 3?
That's 1.
1?
It's
Oh.
Lake
1.
Michigan. That's it.
Yep.
Stupid.
So you tied. So now Ben is 7-5-2.
Correct. Yes.
7-5-2. And Steve, you're going to get that $25 gift card.
It would have got me fired if I was coaching the Bucks.
That's true. So congratulations
The
to Steve on the
expectations
tie.
for you are different than what
Actually, you're right. This is a championship season for me.
It is a championship season.
Let's run through these answers. All right. So the name of the protective layer around the Earth that shields us from harmful solar radiation is the ozone layer. Both got that one correct. The document that begins with "We the People" and it's the supreme law of the United States, the Constitution. Also both got that correct. What is the name of the first permanent English settlement in North America? Tough one. It might sound familiar, though. Jamestown?
Yeah, he was close.
He was close.
Jonestown.
Yeah.
So
close.
Yeah.
Capital city of Canada is indeed Ottawa.
Good for you. You went there before, huh?
So this is a good story, but a bad story. You know how all these college basketball teams go to like Italy and France and all these foreign trips?
Oh, yeah.
They took our asses to Canada.
Well, look what it resulted. It resulted in a national championship.
I can drive to Canada. I want to go to Italy or something.
That does pale in comparison to Europe.
Thank you.
Or like they go to the Maui tournament or things like that.
Onwards.
Oh, well. When a story takes place in the future and it involves advanced technology, what genre is this usually classified in? That is science fiction. You guys both got that right. The term used for a humorous play on words that has similar sounds but different meanings. That's a pun.
Oh,
okay.
I don't like the definition of a pun. I know what a pun is when I hear one.
I know when I hear it.
It does sound strange when you spell it out, the definition. The force that opposes motion on one surface as it moves across another surface is friction.
Cool.
Friction. The President of the United States and also the principal author of the Declaration of Independence, Thomas Jefferson.
TJ!
Capital city of South Korea.
Seoul.
Yeah, you got that right.
Steve had a heck of a guess on that one.
What did he say? He said
Bangkok?
Bangkok was for Belgium, I thought.
Oh, maybe it was for Belgium. Bangkok sticks out to me.
Yeah, it does.
He said Edmonton for the capital city of Canada.
Which isn't terrible.
No. But the capital city of Belgium, that is Brussels. This is an interesting one. I never knew this one. The first patented invention by Thomas Edison. Light bulb is a good guess. The electrographic vote recorder.
Lame.
Vote recorder? Or
yeah,
vote?
like a vote. Like you
lame.
cast a vote, it automatically reads your vote. Think about that, in elections and whatnot.
Interesting.
Center of a cell is called a nucleus. The name of the value assigned to moisture in the air.
The hell is that?
Humidity.
Oh! Wait a minute, you said a value?
You don't get to talk mean to me. You're as dumb as I am.
I didn't know what that was. I didn't know humidity was a value. I thought humidity was a word. I'm like, that was a sign.
Humidity is the measure of value of moisture in the air.
All right, you have all the answers. You don't get to act all self-righteous.
That's what Steve did say. He's like, these are hard in real time.
Did you think it was humidity?
I wouldn't be able to get that off.
Yeah, I didn't know that's what humidity was. I just know I know when I see it, it's been said.
Yeah. It's easier when you are looking at it and reading it after the fact. Final question. How many Great Lakes are located entirely in the U.S. territory? Just one. The one we jumped in.
Congratulations
give him 15 just because we didn't get to it.
All right, 15. What are the bones that protect your heart?
Ribs.
Very good.
Thank you. Stephen Edgerton, congratulations. I'm not a sore loser today because I'm still 7-5-2, but when that gets under 500, I will become a real Richard. Let's just say that. 800-990-ESPN if you want to get involved on the ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. News of the day, the breaking news about an hour ago. Adrian Griffin out as Milwaukee Bucks head coach. We react with you. Kyle Wallace is mad that the Packers didn't get rid of Joe Barry earlier. But Tauscher says he's wrong. We'll discuss all of that and more coming up next. But first, Brad, tell us about your great friends that help keep you thirsty in a healthy way.
That's right.
Guilt-free way.
In a very guilt-free way. And days like today where, man, it feels like it's just stressful with the Bucks or with what's going on in the NBA. You know, I just like to sit back. I like to relax. And when I like to do that, I like to go and grab me a Carbless. The Nortman fridge is full of Carbless. From the first time that I tried Carbless last April, I remember it distinctly. I was like, dude, this is different than anything else I've ever tried. And it's not only in taste, but in how I like to live my life, which is with less guilt. And that's because Carbless has 0 carbs, 0 sugar. It's gluten-free. It's 100 calories a can. A lot of these premium cocktails, they have a ridiculous amount of carbonation. It makes me feel bloat, makes me feel terrible after. Carbless has reduced the level of carbonation. It's just the amount to be refreshing, but less carbonation than all other ones that I've tried, and it's just perfect for when you're drinking it, you're tasting it. It goes down so smooth every time. And there's a taste for everybody. Whether you want a refreshing, more fruit side of it, where it's raspberry, cranberry, pineapple, black cherry, or whether it's the classic cocktails like I just picked up from the grocery store on Sunday, the Paloma, the Strawberry Margarita, the Mojito, and the Moscow Mule. I'm going to be sipping those this weekend. I can tell you that much right now. So why don't you taste for yourself on why Carbless is my favorite and my go-to drink that also allows me to live my life without the guilt. Give it a try. Search retailers and online near you to understand why less is more with Carbless.
Updates continue to roll in regards to the Milwaukee Bucks and the new coaching search that has begun. They do have the interim head coach and a familiar name that you all know. We will continue to hit on that and hear from you. 800-990-ESPN. All of that next.
This Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light.
I'm not taking any credence to the guy kicking it 45, 50 yards down the field.
Nothing wrong with a 40-yard.
Sounds like the specialists were on the same page.
No, he was in the locker room.
Yeah, I'm sure Brad Nortman and Cam Newton were yapping it up together.
But
hey, we have the same page, bro.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
I am the fittest, healthiest, and lightest I've been in years thanks to the team at Carbon World Health. Jim Rutledge here, and I've been working with Dr. Nestor Rodriguez and his training staff for years now, and I've seen my fitness and strength increase steadily. Now I'm seeing weight loss like I've never expected thanks to semaglutide. I'm dropping fat, not muscle, with this game-changing, FDA-approved weight loss treatment. Go to carbonworldhealth.com today to learn more.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident that was not your fault, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions for free. Call now and find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-384-1340. I'm here with spokesman John Wolf. So, John, tell everyone listening who should call right now.
Well, Maria, first off, thank you for having me here. It's always nice to answer the listeners' questions. Now, as far as who should call in, anyone who's been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, give us a call right now. 800-384-1340. You'll find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth.
Thanks, John. You heard it, folks. Take advantage of this opportunity and call now. 800-384-1340.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center, may not be available in all states.
Gruber Law Offices, serving the people of Wisconsin for over 30 years. Call us today if you've been injured. Gruber Law Offices, a proud partner of the Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
Haul away big deals this Thursday through Sunday at Fleet Farm's Truckload Savings Event. Like 40-pound bags of Diamond Crystal Solar Salt, just $4.99. 20-pound bags of KT Woodlands Wild Bird Food are only $5.99. Plus, save on 50 pounds of Sprout Crumble or Pellet Poultry Layer Feed, just $13.99. And set your sights on 35% off Ammo Inc. defensive handgun ammo. Stock up on everything you need for everyday life at Fleet Farm.
Ben Brust here to tell you about why your next work van should be from Mercedes-Benz Sprinter at Zimbrick European. First off, we have versatility. The Sprinter vans offer 16 body types and thousands of ways to customize that space. Number 2, we have reliability. Sprinter's most powerful diesel engines last longer and require less maintenance, spend more time in the road and less time in those bays. Number 3, we have safety. Sprinter's safety technologies include curtain airbags all around, load adaptive electronic stability program, and crosswind and attention assist. Number 4, Van Care Mobile. Our maintenance team can come to you with routine service. Who wants to go in? Let them come to you. They work with multiple trucks on one visit. Use the Mercedes Me Connect. And last but not least, get your Zimbrick Sprinter at Zimbrick European at Rimrock Road and the Beltline, or go online at ZimbrickEuropean.com because they never charge over the MSRP.
At UW Credit Union, our home loans have everything you need for your next big step, including up to $750 off closing costs for all home buyers. And first-time buyers can save even more. So if you're ready to trade roomies for more room, or your townhome for an out-of-town home, UW Credit Union will be with you from start to furnished. UW Credit Union. Apply online today. Equal housing lender. Credit may be limited as required by program. Visit uwcu.org for details.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Adrian Griffin out as Milwaukee Bucks head coach. We are Kyle, Brust, and Nortman. I'm Ben Brust alongside Kyle Wallace, Packer backer, Wisconsin sports backer. We have Brad Nortman, longtime NFL punter. Second place, Brad. Great career. Just couldn't get the big games done. Still love him. 800-990-ESPN and on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee and at ESPN Madison. But got to tell you how you can win a seat at Super Bowl 58 thanks to Bud Light with their Super Bowl ticket giveaway and the biggest one ever. So all you have to do is upload proof of purchase and you're entered to win. So look for the QR code. Running out of days of NFL games. There's 4 teams left. There are 3 games left in the NFL season. I'm freaking out because I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. I guess I'm going to have a kid in a couple weeks and I can keep myself busy that way. But I'm going to miss football. So, again, show some love. You can get entered. Look for the QR code on display, and then you can win a VIP experience in Las Vegas for Super Bowl 58. Must be 21 years or older to enter. 800-990-ESPN. And Kyle, I want to ask you, which front office do you trust more? The Green Bay Packers or the Milwaukee Bucks?
That is a great question.
Packer backer himself. He's got the shareholder stock thingy-majiggy.
You mean I am an owner. I'm a Packer shareholder, so just get that right. Not a thingy-majiggy. It is actual ownership, so let's just be respectful here. Let's not be disrespectful towards Kyle.
Chat, roast him.
And honestly, I will have to say, though the Milwaukee Bucks organization and under John Horst has won a championship, the Packers consistently my entire life have been there and they have been competitive. I think the Packers organization, they are the better organization. They are the more consistent organization. You don't just have 3 quarterbacks in a 30-year span because it's just by chance. It's for sure the Green Bay Packers with the fact that they just have a history of winning. We've had very few losing seasons. I might love the Milwaukee Bucks, but I do remember a dark time where we were just straight up mediocrity.
They're not in that dark time right now.
They're not in the dark time right now.
But they've won a championship most recent. Yeah. The team that you love is sustained success. Don't get me wrong, the Packers organization will get your hopes up and break your heart a lot of times, Kyle. Yeah. The last time they won a Super Bowl was 2010.
Oh, I know.
The Bucks are in a window right now, and everyone can absolutely be excited about Jordan Love in the future, but nothing's guaranteed, especially in the game of football where there's not 7-game series.
It's hard for me to take an organization like the Milwaukee Bucks where I look at a lot. Listen, I plan on living on this great earth for a lot more years. I hope I got at least 50 more in me, maybe 60 more in me. And the one organization that I trust in those next 50 to 60 years to be successful, to be consistent, to give me an opportunity to cheer for something into January, to bring me heartbreak as well with that because we have the opportunity to win a Super Bowl is the Green Bay Packers. So I'm choosing the Packers organization despite the fact the most recent championship came here with the Milwaukee Bucks, despite the fact that the Bucks have gone all in to get a Damian Lillard, to get a Jrue Holiday, to do everything they can to win. I just don't feel like the window in the next 10 years is still going to be there where I look at the Green Bay Packers and I think that window for winning, the window for having an opportunity to be relevant will still be there for the Green Bay Packers. So give me the organization that has proven to be a winning model of success versus the one that just seems like we just lately became a winning model of success with Giannis and us making some great trades.
Hey, he is a Packer backer. Good to have him fully back, even after a heartbreaking loss.
You know, the way I look at this, I see the Packers sustain success, and I do think that is pretty unbelievable, right? They're pretty good to be beneficiaries of great quarterback play over the last several years. I just look, and you can't take away anything from what the Packers do from a front office. Literally yesterday, I said that the Packers front office is the envy of all the NFL because of the sustained success and ability to draft and develop. However, the ability to bring a championship to the city of Milwaukee in the NBA, it is something I legitimately thought would never happen in my lifetime.
Oh, wow.
So the fact that this organization, the NBA, it's won by like the championship is won by like 8 teams. I mean, there are very, very few teams that have ever won an NBA championship, and you're lucky to get one if you're not the Lakers, the Celtics, the Heat. I mean, the Bulls, the San Antonio Spurs. So the fact that this front office...
I mean, to your point, the Bulls haven't won one since Jordan.
True. And it's so hard to do.
To his point, that's to my point. The Bulls haven't won one since they had the great Michael Jordan, just like the Bucks might find themselves in the same situation when Giannis leaves, just like, well, the Lakers can always get somebody.
Yeah, but the Bucks have kept Giannis around.
Yeah,
you know how hard it is to keep a Giannis in Milwaukee? You're giving no credit to Horst and this crew on what they did in Deer District, Fiserv Forum, everything.
You're Johnny come lately. I'm not about that.
Well, the Bucks found Giannis.
Did you call me?
They developed him, kept him here, and surrounded him with the talent to win an NBA championship. In a league that's all glamour and big city and all superstars, those are big handicaps to the city of Milwaukee, let's be honest. So the fact that they were able to do that and have a position over the next window to be able to win another, hopefully one, maybe more, is an unbelievable feat of success that is a harder thing to do than the Packers to win the Super Bowl. It's harder for the Bucks to win the NBA championship than the Packers to win a Super Bowl.
I was going to give Kyle a great gift from our friends at the Milwaukee Bucks.
I want that.
It's a watch of Damian Lillard.
You're going to let me keep that for real?
No, but you just chose the Green Bay Packers over the Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks organization gifted this to ESPN Milwaukee. I'm not going to give it to the Packer backer who doesn't believe in how this Bucks organization.
I believe in the Bucks.
Now watch this heel turn. Watch this, Brad.
I believe in the Bucks organization, but what y'all want me to do is y'all want me to just sit up here and lie and tell falsities because I want to watch? No, I'm just going to keep it real. Brad, you talked about a window, and you talked about it earlier as well. Which team has the bigger championship window right now, the Milwaukee Bucks or the Green Bay Packers?
I think the Bucks have a more realistic window.
No, which team has a bigger window right now for winning a championship?
All right.
If you had to look into the future,
I want him to answer because I can totally negate whatever you're going to say.
I think that I would, if I had to bet who's going to win a championship next, it would be the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah,
and who's going to win more? Who's going to win more over the next 10 years?
Yes.
I would place the Bucks.
Okay. When I look at the championship window,
next 10 years, I would pick the Bucks too.
No, next 10 years, I'm picking the Green Bay Packers.
Why?
The Green Bay Packers.
What have they done? They've won 2 in 30 years. You're acting like it's a given the next 10 years.
It's not a given. But when you look at the future and you look at the window, you cannot sit here and tell me that you think the Milwaukee Bucks have a wider window. We just talked about the fact that Chris Middleton is old. He's becoming slow. We just talked about the fact that you just gave Giannis an extension. Giannis may not be here after the extension. Dame, he ain't gonna be here after a couple of years either because Dame is getting old as well. Jordan Love is a 25-year-old quarterback surrounded by the youngest team in the NFL. To sit here and say that the Bucks have a longer window, the Bucks may be closer to a championship than the Packers, but the Packers definitely have the bigger window. But you are the clown, Ben.
The way the NBA works, though, is you have to be all in on any given year. So it's more realistic for the Bucks to win a championship.
I'm a circus clown. I make those catches.
I threw it a little bit too hot.
The way the NBA is structured is you have to be in on any given year. So for the Packers, they're setting themselves up for a more backloaded 10 years, but it's certainly a more front-loaded 10 years for the Milwaukee Bucks. So if you were to say how many are they going to each win?
The Packers just took a team that still may win the Super Bowl all the way to the brink. They were right there. If it wasn't for Carlson Anders, if it wasn't for him, we would have won that game.
Now, Kyle, did you know that Brett Favre went 10 years in between going to NFC Championship games?
Do I recall that? Dang, it was that long?
It was that long. And so I think to Brad's point, you're forgetting.
2007 was the only NFC championship they went to after they lost to the Broncos in the Super Bowl?
Very good.
Yep. My gosh.
It's crazy.
That's 10 years, buddy. And that's with a franchise quarterback. And as much as I do love Jordan Love, you can say it's a different time, but it's very hard because it's not a 7-game series. It is you could be the best team in the NFL, have an any given Sunday type day, and boom, you're done.
Timeout. We're sitting here and again. I love the fact that
you don't love the Bucks.
Last week I don't love the Packers. No, I don't love the Bucks.
You got it.
I love the fact that I can sit here as being a Milwaukee sports fan, as being a Wisconsin sports fan, and talk about championship windows. That's not something that I got to do my entire life for every single sport here, whether it's the Brewers, whether it's the Bucks, Bucks, whether it's the Packers. I didn't always get to talk about championship windows, so I love having this conversation. But at the end of the day, the Milwaukee Bucks have been to one. They have been to one NBA Finals in a very, very long time. It took 50 years for them to get back to the Finals. To sit here and act like it's a given for the Milwaukee Bucks is a complete joke.
You're acting like it's a given for the next year for the Packers, and we have more evidence that it isn't.
They're already shining off future Lombardis.
I'm not saying it's a given, but the Milwaukee Bucks have had Giannis, and they had Drew, and they had Michael Redd. They had Chris Middleton. They had these pieces already, and we only got to one NBA Finals.
He looks as old as Michael Redd right now. Am I right?
He could be the coach. We literally lost 1-4 against the Miami Heat last year in the NBA playoffs. For us to sit here and act like the Milwaukee Bucks is all of a sudden, after firing their coach, the organization's in disarray. It's in disarray. It's not a lot of organizations. So to sit here and say their window is larger just because they got Giannis, y'all are the jokes, not me.
You were the joke at 2-5 trying to fire the whole team.
I sure was.
Yeah, you were.
I sure was.
Yeah, you
Fire
were.
Joe Barry.
800-990-3776. That's the ESPN Wisconsin talking text line. And we're talking a lot about the championship window, and I call this my victory pizza. That's screaming Sicilian pizza because it is so screaming good. 2.5 feet of cheese in the I'm stuffed crust pizza. Tons of great different toppings on those. But you also got to remember the thin and crispies. That's that cracker-style crust. Amazing. The tavern style as well. Tavern style, thin and crispy. Awesome. 2.5 feet of stuffed crust cheese. Awesome. But don't forget, the OG Screamins, I went as part of getting a new house. What do you got to do? You got to stock the freezer, especially with the baby coming. I got to make sure I'm ready to go. And shout out to Palermo's for that wonderful gift that they dropped off, a onesie, a Palermo Screamin' Sicilian onesie for my future child. That child's going to love Palermo's pizza. I went and got the Boss Hog is their classic sausage. It's now #1 in the power rankings. Give me the football music, Chris, if you may. Right now, Screamin' Sicilian power rankings, very quick. Number 5, the Supremus Maximus. Number 4, that has to be the thin and crispy sausage and pepperoni. Number 3, the stuffed crust pizza, just cheese. Cheese on cheese on cheese. Number 2, you guys know the drill. It's one of my favorites, the Mambo Italiano. Mambo. Right now, Boss Hog, #1. Find your screaming pleasure in your local grocer's freezer. We'll be back. Kyle, Brust, and Nortman reacting with you. 800-990-ESPN.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light.
My offer, as we come up with the KBN, thanks to JD and Fondy, reutilizing Judy, who is still in my garage right now.
Is she a big booty Judy or a little flapjack booty Judy?
She's got a little something to her. I'll say that.
Oh, she got some
Judy the blow-up doll. She got a little something to her.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Holloway big deals this Thursday through Sunday at Fleet Farm's Truckload Savings Event. Like 40-pound bags of Diamond Crystal Solar Salt, just $4.99. 20-pound bags of KT Woodlands Wild Bird Food are only $5.99. Plus, save on 50 pounds of Sprout Crumble or Pellet Poultry Layer Feed, just $13.99. And set your sights on 35% off Ammo Inc. defensive handgun ammo. Stock up on everything you need for everyday life at Fleet Farm.
ESPN Madison is on Wisconsin Sports. Catch up on anything you missed on the Varsity Podcast on Wisconsin On Demand. Brought to you by Zimbrick Honda, a proud supporter of Wisconsin Badger Athletics. If you're looking to purchase, finance, or service a new or pre-owned Honda, shop local, part of the Madison community since 1973.
Goodman's Jewelers has been providing the sparkle to Madison since 1933. That's a lot of great memories. John Hayes for Goodman's Jewelers. We've been caring for generations of customers, and during that time our strengths have been trust, service, and selection. Those traits are who we are, and that will never change. Goodman's Jewelers, a destination worth reaching. 220 State Street, goodmansjewelers.com.
The best is at Goodman's.
Dash the Dane. That's right, Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company has expanded their delivery offerings with DoorDash. New customers get $5 off your first order of $25 or more. And don't forget, Dash Pass subscribers always receive free delivery. Order delivery today at GreatDanePub.com or on the DoorDash app and get food delivered from the Great Dane closest to you. Downtown, Hilldale, Fitchburg, or East Madison. Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company, Madison's home for craft beer and pub food since 1994.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Ben Brust here to tell you about the Princeton Club. I joined the Princeton Club because I was looking for a place I could invest in my health, and the environment and the community I have felt has made it so easy for me to incorporate it into my everyday life. It doesn't matter where you're at in your fitness journey because they have something to offer everyone. It also goes beyond fitness. From the moment you walk in the club to the moment you walk out, there is a togetherness felt throughout the members and staff that keeps you going for your better tomorrow. Don't wait any longer and get started on your fitness journey today at PrincetonClub.net. That's PrincetonClub.net.
The NBA season is going strong, and there's no easier way to get in on the action than with Underdog Fantasy and their Pick'em game. Fantasy sports, real money. The way to play is simple. Pick between 2 to 5 players, select higher or lower on player stats, and if the picks hit, you can win up to 100 times your money. Underdog Fantasy is legal in Wisconsin and a ton of fun to play along as you're watching the Bucks play. It has become a big part of my game watching routine, and now I have the ability to win some real money while rooting for my favorite players. You can see how easy it is to play, and getting started is even easier. Go to Underdog Fantasy's easy-to-use mobile app or visit UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with promo code KBN, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. Plus, you get a special pick of higher than 0.5 total yards to use on your first pick'em entry. That's promo code KBN. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Big trailers and big opportunity. Since 1962, Stoughton Trailers has been a family-owned and operated business. With competitive wages and excellent benefits, plus growth and advancement opportunities, Stoughton Trailers is an exciting place to grow your career. Join the collaboration, innovation, and dynamic team atmosphere at Stoughton Trailers, with positions now open in production, operations, finance, sales, engineering, supply chain, and more. Go to stojobs.com to apply today. Stoughton Trailers, big opportunity.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Which front office do you believe in more? 800-990-ESPN. Ryan claims that my kid is going to be vegan, as I love pizza with, talking about the Boss Hog, the Mother of Meat, Supremus Maximus. Don't put that in the universe, Ryan. They can make that decision when they're 18. They're carnivores until then. Dan in the 608 chimes in. In Kyle's defense, the Packers have won more championships than the Bucks in their history. But come on now.
You guys are acting like the Packers haven't been winning lately. The Bucks have won one champion. And again, I'm not trying to take anything away from the Bucks.
Yes, you are.
Stop it.
I won't do that.
Not 2
this
weeks
week.
in a row.
I'll give you a break.
Tarnish my name,
I'll
okay?
give you a break before I come at your head again.
But both organizations have been great. Aaron Rodgers, up until this last season when he was a Green Bay Packer, the Packers were still a good football team. Matt LaFleur had the most wins in 3 seasons for a first-time head coach. Don't sit here and act like the Bucks were the only team that were successful so far. They are just the team that won they won a championship more recently.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Both front offices have been unbelievable. It makes it great to be a Wisconsin sports fan. But I just look at what the Bucks did. The Bucks the NBA is made up of dynasties, basically. Who would have thought that the Bucks could position themselves to compete with those dynasties? It's the parity of the NFL that spreads it out more. It actually increases the likelihood for everybody to be successful. But with the Bucks, the way the NBA is structured, it's harder to win a championship if you're a smaller market team like the Bucks.
Yeah, and I think you both are bringing really good points to the table. But I think part of Carl.
It doesn't even matter.
I was calling you Carl, which part of Kyle's argument that I think goes against him is, yes, the Packers have been sustaining success, but to me, what does that even mean? Other than if you don't we're talking about championships. I do believe that the draft and develop system that they have in place has helped them. They clearly have something, a golden horseshoe stuck up the butt, because they're able to get Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, Jordan Love. That's unbelievable. But you got to do something more with that before you're just going to be like, yes, this front office is great. Because I can make the same argument that although right now the Brewers have not won a world championship, well, their front office has done a hell of a job in this market. 5 of 6 years they've made the playoffs, as I see. Steve has mentioned that on YouTube, and I think that's an incredible job in the smallest market in the MLB. I'm not putting the Brewers in this conversation, but when you think about both front offices, right? The Bucks have continuously made moves, and that's why I commend them, whereas it might hurt the Packers in this argument that they don't go all in. Now, people can argue they've gone all in Packers' way, but they haven't mortgaged the future like a Rams team did, and Sean McVay's like, well, I won a Super Bowl, and now I don't know if I want to coach anymore, and then Puka Nacua shows up, and boom, he's happy again, right? So that it helps your argument, but also hurts because they haven't been able to push through. Now, Andy and Grafton, 800-990-ESPN. You tell us who you believe in more, the Bucks or the Packers, front office, that is.
Well, it's factual. There's proof. The Milwaukee Bucks obviously don't settle. The Milwaukee Bucks view themselves as a championship organization, and they don't hold friends. They just hired this guy, 5 months ago, and we don't view ourselves as being 30-13. Nobody in the front office, nobody on the basketball team view themselves as the second best record in the NBA. They view themselves they're not meeting the standard that is set in this organization, and the Milwaukee Bucks make a move that, in my opinion, is probably going to go down as the best move the Milwaukee Bucks organization has ever made in the history of their organization.
Now that's strong because they did trade for Drew Holiday, which led to a championship. This would have to lead to a championship.
Very true. But we have 4 years of Giannis and 4 years of Dame. So if you were literally going to watch this year waste away, and they were going to fire Adrian Griffin at the end of the season, they at least didn't double down on a poor decision.
I agree.
Adrian Griffin probably nailed that interview. And kudos to him for getting the job. But he proved in 43 games we are not an NBA championship contender. We are not. Our record may indicate that we are, but we've beat a lot of fraudulent basketball teams. And when we're barely beating the Golden State Warriors at home without Steph Curry, or barely beating the Detroit Pistons, or barely beating the Sacramento Kings, there's something wrong with it.
Yeah, and appreciate the call, Andy. 800-990-3776. Adam chimes in, if he ain't first, you're last. Milwaukee Bucks, probably. I think what he said there about don't settle is really interesting, as Kyle, the Packer backer, is on one side of this front office argument in terms of who do you trust more, Packers or Bucks front office. You just throw out a couple names. Anders Carlson, Amari Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers, Randall Cobb.
You don't want to play this game. Oh, you don't want to play this game.
Okay, let me tell you, the Milwaukee Bucks drafting the reason why the Bucks the Bucks suck at drafting. I just want you to get this right.
They ain't drafted in the top 10 every year.
When they were drafting in the top 10,
in the first round of no, I'm not going to get into the semantics of draft classes right now.
What do you
can build it.
These players?
The NBA draft versus the NFL draft are two completely different things.
The Bucks swing and miss and miss and miss and hit with Giannis and miss and miss and miss and miss and miss. I don't know. No, this ain't
Judy. Miss and miss and miss and miss and miss, and Jordan Love is great, and then hit, right? That's all it was.
Here's how I think I can bottle this up. I think each team and each front office has their approach, right? The question is, when you deem it necessary, how willing to be uncomfortable are you? How much are you willing to deviate from that plan? The Packers show they're not that willing to deviate from their plan. The Bucks show they are willing to deviate from their plan if they deem it absolutely necessary.
Got to tell you about the Princeton Club, because if the teams around the Wisconsin area are looking for a better tomorrow, well, find the Princeton Club. 8 locations in Madison, New Berlin location, and until you got about 8 days left until the end of January. The rates are the lowest that they will be, so lock them in now for the rest of the year. They are not just a club for you to get better, just from a fitness standpoint. They help you along the way. They're open 24/7. Free childcare with your membership. That's stuff you just don't get. That's why people continue to come back for more at the Princeton Club. I feel great from the moment I walk in to the moment I walk out. Best rates right now. Lowest rates of the year. Lock them in right now. Radio Voice John, you're on the other side. 800-990-ESPN. We'll take your calls, your texts. That's next.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN.
And I'm sure he'll offer this opportunity again.
Absolutely
What are you going to
not.
sell? What are you going to say to Ben Brust
I'm
then?
saying you don't get your hand on my goddamn face. No. It's a no. I can say it in different languages. No, no, no.
Mitch or whatever it is.
I don't know.
Nine.
Nine. That's a firm way to say no.
Nine.
Nine.
Next time we say nine.
Presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Alex Strofe.
Varsity on Wisconsin On Demand is home to all the latest and best Badgers content on ESPN Wisconsin. Subscribe on Apple, Spotify, Wisconsin On Demand, and wherever you get your podcasts. There were two notable coaching changes for the Wisconsin football program last week. At the beginning of the week, new offensive line coach A.J. Blazek was introduced to the staff. Blazek replaces former offensive line coach Jack Bicknell Jr. after just one season in Madison. Reported Thursday night by ESPN's Pete Thamel, now former Wisconsin safeties coach and co-defensive coordinator Colin Hitchler has accepted an assistant coaching position with the University of Alabama. The Badgers play Alabama week 3 of the season at Camp Randall Stadium.
Badger Minutes on ESPN Wisconsin are brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Schedule an appointment online today at PellaWI.com.
Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side. When you see Diamond Jim, you can count on him to be on your side. Selection beyond compare with on-site repair, so you can wear your jewelry with pride. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
When you've been seriously injured, you'll need a team with knowledge and experience to get the results you deserve. Call Gruber Law Offices today, proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
Nelnet Incorporated has document imaging technology from James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner. Facilities Coordinator Sunday Heidemann, local and partner ring true for you. Why?
They become your friend. They are easy to work with. You get to know them on a personal level, and they're very outgoing.
James Imaging Systems, helping local businesses do business better.
Being a partner, we can collaborate with each other, and we can make the best needs and outcome for our company.
James Imaging Systems, better technology, great people.
Makes my job so much easier that I can contact the people that know the machines, and I know I'm going to be taken care of.
Sunday, anything to say about James Imaging Systems to others?
They're a great team to work with.
Document imaging technology from James Imaging Systems. Call 608-221-3457. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
This is Greeny.
I took Marcus to my gym one time. I was a member of a club down here that had a workout room and it had a restaurant. And so Marcus Spears, we did the show and I invited him. He came over. We worked out together. We showered and steamed together. And then we went to have lunch together. We get there and I'm like, let's go, let's do this. And I watched like the weight that he's picking up. And I was like, I'm just going to do cardio today.
Greeny, weekdays noon to 2 on 100.5 ESPN.
Hey everyone, Molly Brown here from ESPN Madison. For the best Southwestern food and margaritas in the Madison area, it's always Pasquale's Cantina for me. Whether I'm enjoying my favorite taco salad, their awesome chips and guac, or one of their famous burritos, Pasquale's is the best for authentic Southwestern fare. Plus, they have one of the largest tequila selections around. Visit one of their locations in Verona or Middleton today, or check out their menu and order online at Pasquale'sCantina.com.
Bringing the flavors of the Southwest to the Midwest. Pasquale's Cantina.
Breaking news on ESPN Madison is presented by Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or visit MetroKiaofMadison.com.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Well, there's a will, there's a way, kind of beautiful, and every night has a state so
KBN
magical.
Nation, the football season may be over for our Packers, but we can still keep our heads in the game by playing Underdog Fantasy. Don't be like my boy Ben, who's going to miss out on the football season when it's over. You can still stay active with Underdog Fantasy and play the game. It's so easy to play. First, I want you to visit UnderdogFantasy.com or go to your app store, whether it's the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. Go and download Underdog Fantasy and play their pick'em game where you can pick between 2 to 5 players, select higher or lower on player stats, and if your pick hits, you can win up to 100 times. That's 100 times your money. I love playing. I made my picks yesterday.
You done that?
And I have not won 100 times my money, but you can win 5 times, 3 times, 10 times. You can win a lot of money playing Underdog Fantasy, and it is fun. So, for you, I want you right now, again, go to the mobile app for Underdog Fantasy or go to UnderdogFantasy.com and sign up today using promo code KBN. Promo code KBN, and guess what? They will double your first deposit up to $100. Yeah, so if you use the promo code KBN right now at UnderdogFantasy.com or on the app, they will double your first deposit up to $100. Have fun playing Underdog Fantasy. It makes the watching experience that much more fun. And also, must be 18 plus and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Whose front office do you believe in more right now? 69% of people, nice, say the Green Bay Packers. 31% say the Milwaukee Bucks. That is on Twitter at KBN ESPN. We also have it out there for you to answer. Is this Bucks season now more likely or less likely that they win a championship now that Adrian Griffin is gone? More likely, 85%. I agree with that. Now, it's not great on the surface, but a good recognition from a management team to cut bait if something's not working before it's too late. Sometimes we see that in the Green Bay Packers where they hold on to Amari Rodgers too long, and I want to scream every time his knees are shaking under a punt. Let's go to Radio Voice John and Kyle Brust and Nortman, 800-990-ESPN. What up, John?
Gentlemen, how we doing?
Good. Better today. Distracted from the heartbreak of Saturday.
Understood. Hey, so here's my thing. Okay, first off, I'm just wolfing down a couple of Swiss cake rolls, so take whatever I say with a grain of salt. But nonetheless, when Ron Wolf was the GM of the Packers, he famously said that the first thing you do when you realize you're making a mistake is you stop making it. When he was talking about draft picks that don't pan out, like, for example, Rodgers. So if Adrian Griffin is in fact a mistake, stop making it. It seems harsh, but I'm willing to go Ron Wolf and say you had to do this. You guys have a great day.
You too, John. A good nugget, right? Whatever your quote of the day is, I think John nailed it. Insanity, doing the same thing over and over, and I think that's what this Bucs defense was doing, right?
Ooh. Yeah.
Well, running around in circles, letting the Detroit Pistons go off.
And what did we talk about when we thought about the idea of firing Joe Barry, right? When a coach gets fired, does two things. One, clears the air a little bit, right? Everyone can breathe a little bit. All the tension that was once there, that's gone. It's like a reset. And it's a message. It's a message to the players and the coaches, like, wake up, let's do this. I have to remind you that there are consequences for not playing well. So I think this team is going to respond, and I think whoever the new coach comes in, it comes into a brand new environment.
See, I don't think this is one of those wake-up calls for the team. I think this is one of those things where the team probably called for this to happen. So it's not one of those things where it's, oh my gosh, our job's on the line. It's, okay, finally, we get rid of this and we can move forward. So I hope that this team is able to be in one accord and move forward with the fact that Adrian Griffin is no longer the coach, and whoever they bring in next, whether it's Joe Prunty or they go get an outside guy, that they're all in one accord and lockstep, because the goal is still to win a championship.
Yeah, this would be like, so Kyle Wallace here also manages 101.7 The Truth, and like, I am in the office hearing, a lot of talk from like all the hosts, producers, everyone he manages, that like, Kyle's got to go. Otherwise, sometimes the coach has got to go.
Well, yeah, I mean, if I got to go, then I'm gonna get on that. I'm gonna get on that nice little plan where I'm in here a little less.
Well, you have plenty. As we learned, Kyle Wallace recently purchased a chain restaurant date night thing for once a week for 52 weeks. He can eat as much as he wants and drink as much as he wants, and he's got Frontier Airlines pass, so he's flying and living large, our guy.
He is living